Manchester City are the biggest force in world football right now. Following a historic treble win, it's become clear that they're not going to be stopped anytime soon. While their dominance of English football in recent years is undoubtedly impressive, it's no great secret that they've been helped immensely by their owners' insane wealth. When Sheikh Mansour of Abu Dhabi United Group first completed the buyout of Manchester City in 2008, they were sitting 9th in the Premier League and had been without a trophy for 32 seasons. On the day the takeover was confirmed, the club shocked the world by signing Robinho from Real Madrid for £32.5 million. It was clear from the get-go that Sheikh Mansour had big plans and very deep pockets. The takeover represented a huge shift in the landscape of English football and demonstrated how billionaire owners could transform a football club into one of the elites in a very short space of time. Only 4 years later, the club won their first Premier League title and set themselves on a course to kickstart their dominance of the English game. Sheikh Mansour had spent well over £1 billion on transfers since arriving at Manchester City, and the trophies have followed as a result. The club has managed to make a name for itself as one of the biggest spenders in football, and have long been accused of buying their success. It's recently come to light, however, that City haven't exactly been following the rulebook when it comes to their transfer dealings, and they're very much at risk of being stripped of their Champions League trophy. The reason why the club is in so much trouble will shock you. Rule breaking. It's common knowledge that Manchester City are more than happy to spend big on players. Year after year, they spend big on the best players that money can buy. In recent seasons, they've signed the likes of Jack Grealish and Erling Haaland, and there's a strong likelihood that they'll add Declan Rice to that list this summer as well. Clearly, the spending has been worth it for Mansour and the Abu Dhabi Group, as the club's honours list continues to grow. The club's spending hasn't gone unnoticed by football's governing bodies, and after a 4-year investigation, the Premier League has charged them for over 100 different breaches of financial fair play. The Premier League aren't the only governing body filing charges against Manchester City. UEFA have also charged the club with breaking spending rules, and despite a 2-year ban from European competitions being overturned, there's a strong chance that the club will face severe punishment if they fail to provide evidence why they were not in breach of the rules. But what exactly are Man City guilty of? Financial fair play. In simple terms, the rules set out by financial fair play mean that clubs are only allowed to spend what they earn. Both the Premier League and UEFA are accusing the clubs of issuing secret contracts worth more than they declared to get around the rules on spending. The accusations suggest that Manchester City have been using large sums of their owners' wealth to fund their transfer dealings since the takeover in 2008, rather than using funds generated by the club. If the accusations turn out to be proven by the Premier League and UEFA, then it means one thing: Manchester City have managed to dominate English football in recent years by cheating. While they're not the only club who are guilty of concerning spending activity in recent years, they've certainly benefited from breaking the rules more than most. If it's true that they breached the rules over 100 times, it is questionable whether they deserve to keep hold of the vast number of trophies they've won whilst granting themselves an unfair advantage, including the recent Champions League win. Of course, there will be football fans all around the country and even Europe that are desperate to see the club face significant punishment, especially the likes of Liverpool, who came within touching distance of winning the title themselves on a couple of occasions, only to be thwarted by City. If it can be proven that Manchester City broke the rules, then UEFA have to consider one serious punishment. Potential punishments. It's not entirely clear how the Premier League and UEFA plan to punish the club if they're found to have breached as many rules as the governing bodies suggest. It is very possible that the Premier League will issue a points deduction and a lengthy transfer ban. On the more severe end of the scale, it's also not out of the question that they could be expelled from the league, although it's unlikely based on the revenue that the Premier League would miss out on. UEFA, on the other hand, are clearly unfazed by the potential fallout from punishing the club. They've already attempted to ban Manchester City from European football for 2 years, but the ban was overturned following an appeal. Clearly, UEFA are not willing to tolerate such extreme breaches of their financial rules, and evidence suggests that they'll bring down the book on the club if their charges are successful. This means that there is a very strong chance that the club could be stripped of their recent Champions League trophy. Despite their domestic success, It's taken years for Manchester City to finally win the Champions League, and the consequences of their dodgy transfer business could undo all of the hard work. If UEFA are serious about punishing Man City and take their trophy away, it'll be likely to spark controversy across the footballing world in a way that's never been seen before. Whether it'll happen or not is unclear, but Manchester City fans must be worried. There's a very real risk that they might be stripped of their club's biggest achievement to date.